1970s, the integration began. We knew about the school closing, but we didn't know exactly what day that we were going to actually have to go over. There was rumors and propaganda and all type of things happening already before we got to the school. People were found dead. People were found beat up just on a black and white issue. One of the things that me and 5 other guys decided to do was to graduate high school and go in the military. We decided to do that because it seems to be no other course of action to take, and the military seemed to be the safest place for us, and we could travel and get paid. That was the key thing. Myself, a guy named John Moran, Joseph Jones, Robert Lloyd, Jerry Levison, and we all went into the Air Force. Some guys went into the Army, but most of the guys that graduated in the early 70s went to the military, and that was one of the reasons why. We all had we had big meetings, and we would pick a room that would be empty, and we would just meet within ourselves. And we played on the teams, on the basketball teams with the white guy, but we didn't play our best. We didn't play our hardest, and I hate that we didn't do that. Had we done that, we probably would have took the team over. But the coaches were firm, and they kept us in line, and they said, you know, we don't want to fight among ourselves. We want to fight the other team. And every time that we went to play somebody, there was almost a fight. There was definitely some talk. There was almost a fight. After going into the military, I went back to the school after graduating and getting enlisted, and talked to my ROTC instructors, and they encouraged me to continue and go on to college in order to get a degree and become an officer. They wanted me not to be a non-commissioned officer, but they wanted me to be a regular officer in the Air Force. So I went on to college, and I got my associate's degree in administrative management, my bachelor's degree in resource management. I got my master's degree in operation management from Fayetteville, and I got 2 postdoctorate degrees, one at Trinity College and Seminary, and I am an ordained minister, and the other one is Grambling State University, dealing with developmental learners. So one of the things that I tried to do on both sides was, I held up my hand one day, and I had 5 things that I'd like to do. One of the things I wanted to do was to be a mechanic. My dad was already a mechanic, so he taught me what he knew. The other thing I wanted to do was to graduate college. Graduate college, I did that. Another thing that I wanted to do was to join the military. I joined the military. My next career was to become a college professor. I am a college professor. So those are the things that I had lined up now. Now, as a college professor, I've been at Arkansas Baptist for 32 years. And what I teach now is I teach the students how. I teach the students why. I teach the students when. I teach the students where. And I teach the students why. They need to diversify their careers. Because if they don't diversify their careers, they're not going to have a job, and they're not going to know what happened. One of the things that we need to do as a people is to continue to strive and continue to help our brother man. And if we don't help our brother won't help us.
All right, so going back to Blytheville, what year was that the school was integrated?
1970. 1970 was the integration, and they had a graduation class The graduation class was Harrison High and Blytheville High together, and they both received diploma, but everybody marched together. And the next year was the year that I graduated in '72, and it was just one graduation, Blytheville High School. So I went to high school at Harrison High School, but I graduated from Blytheville High School.
Okay, so Harrison High School was an all-black high school.
Yeah, Harrison High School was an all-black high school, and it was started by a young man named Harrison. Last name was Harrison. And it was there because we couldn't go to the predominantly white school.
Okay, what was that like integrating the first day of school in 1970?
It was like when I was a little kid, I watched my sisters, my cousins, and my brothers walk the streets for equal rights, equal opportunity. And I just said one day, when I grow up, I'm still going to speak on equal opportunity, equal right, segregation. Why are we segregated when in Christ we are always one?
So did y'all hear a lot about what was going on here? Because we look at Blytheville being integrated in 1970, so that was pretty much 23 years after the integration of Little Rock Central High School. Did you hear about the Little Rock Nine? What were your feelings when you heard about what was going on here in '57?
The Little Rock Nine, my mother would change the channel when it came on TV. She said I didn't need to see all that. But every once in a while, she'd fall asleep, and I watch it. I watch the whole thing. I think that's one of the reasons why I live in Little Rock now. I've been in the military. I travel nearly all over the world, only to come back. And we still have some. The people are moving and segregating themselves. And I can say that there may be something for them in the end, but there's nothing for them right now.
What advice, how are we doing 65 years after Central?
Say that again.
How is our generation doing 65 years after Central? How are we
Our
doing?
generation are not trusting each other. We got to learn to trust each other and to take our faults and make them work. One of the things that myself and the other guys who decided to go into the military was that the military was structured. You had to do certain things. You already knew somebody was going to be in your face, and you had to get ready for it. And so we would practice on each other. And we took ROTC in high school. Harrison High School didn't have ROTC, but Blytheville High School did. So we had no problem going, and we all took ROTC. We all marched, and we all wanted to fight.
So,
Not only fight for our education, but to fight for our country. We have to support the mission. The mission is to learn how to live together. I was at the East Porter the other day, sitting in the steam room, and I was the only black in there. At one time, that wasn't allowed. But we had a nice conversation. And we talked about things that was prevalent in the community. Yes, we did. You have to learn, you have to learn, you have to learn how to get along.
All right, we're good.
The book I wrote is called From the Cotton Sack to the Backpack. I would go to the field every day and pray to God to get me out of that field. There was bugs, it was cold, it was nasty, and we had to pick this cotton, but I didn't know we had to pick the cotton in order to put the food on the table. But I realized after a while, I'm 12 years old, and any day that it rained, we went to school. But if it didn't rain, guess what? We didn't go to school. So they have a privilege now to go to school, and the fact that they don't want to go to school, they should have been there when I was there. Your hands had gloves on, but the fingertips in the gloves were worn out, and your fingertips were cold and numb, but you still had to pick that cotton. You had no choice. They would wake you up at dark 30 in the morning, and that was different times. And you would actually get on a truck, drive out to the field, get out your sack, and start on a row. Now they have machines that do that. They call them cotton picking machines. Yeah, and they got combines that pick the beans and all that. But without those machines, we probably would have been still trying to pick cotton.